Greetings. My name is Juan J. Ortiz Jr., and today I will be giving you a lecture on the book Leading Change by John P. Kotter. My agenda will be as follows. I will give you a brief introduction, talk a little bit about transformation, cover the eight-step change process, conclusion, questions, and my reference. John P. Kotter, the author of this book, is a professor at Harvard Business School and a world-renowned change expert, and he wrote the eight-step change process in his 1995 book, Leading Change, which is what I will be talking about. Transformation. So what does transformation mean in a business environment? Well, today's environment, which is technology driven, and most of us are buying things on the internet, businesses must be in a form of transformation at all times. It is the adoption to a more challenging market environment through fundamental reforms of business processes. If I can just give you an example of this, Amazon is in the forefront of businesses today because they are an internet retail that can offer you from A to Z. So businesses are constantly trying to transform to stay up with them. Walmart is one of them. They are a brick and mortar, and they have recently put an online store where they deliver to you from third parties. Now, organizations that don't transform will fall to competitors such as Walmart and Amazon. And I can mention right now that Toys R Us is one of those. Over the past week, they filed for bankruptcy, and if you'll probably notice that they've been around for many years. They've been brick and mortar, but you don't see a lot of online advertising or online sales. So now they've got to look into the change process. As I was reading this book, I wanted to capture some core objectives, and I selected the discussion of the 8 reasons why transformation efforts fail in organizations and how they learn, and some strategies for successful changes in organizations. So let's discuss a little bit about Kotter's 8-step change model. These are the things that I'll be focusing on here. As you can see, they are subcategorized into 3 sequential manners. Create climate for change, which include create urgency, form powerful collision, change vision for change. Engaging or enabling an organization, which covers communication of the vision, empowerment action, create quick wins, and finally, implementing and sustaining change. So you build on change and you make it part of your culture. The step 1 that I want to talk about is create a sense of urgency. If you were just to think about Toys R Us today, they are going to change their strategy, they have to create an urgency. This organization has to develop a sense of urgency around the need for change. So how do they need to change? They need to change their culture, that they must remain competitive if they want to stay around. They are a brick and mortar, but they also have to enhance their vision on how they can infiltrate the internet sales. This may help to spark the initial motivation to get things moving. Open and honest and convincing dialogue about what's happening in the marketplace with your competition. Again, if you look at Toys R Us, what is it that they have to do? It is very easy. You don't have to have a convincing dialogue. It is evident that online sales or the internet has really taken over brick and mortar, and they have to make a change. What you can do as an organization: identify potential threats and develop scenarios showing what could happen in the future. This is probably something that is very important that Toys R Us is thinking about right now. What are the potential threats for Toys R Us? Amazon, eBay, Walmart, Target, and develop scenarios showing what could happen in the future. Well, the scenario is easy. If they don't get with the times and the transformation of online sales, they are going to go under. Examine opportunities that should be or could be or exploited. My example again is Toys R Us. The internet reaches millions and millions of people, and in my opinion, there's room for everybody to make money. All they have to do is market themselves and provide the same type of service such as Amazon. Start honest discussions and give dynamic, convincing reasons to get people talking and thinking. what we're trying to do here is create an urgency within the workforce and not get worried or wrapped around the bankruptcy deal. It's most on how can we get out of this? How can we become competitive? Step 2, form a powerful coalition. Bring together a coalition or team of influential people within the organization whose power comes from a variety of sources, including job title, status, expertise, and political importance. Now, why is this important? You want to have all of these elements put together so you can come up with a strategy on how to get out of this particular challenge. And when you have expertise, people that can make decisions, and political importance within the organization, if it's a public company, it'll help you in the change process. Once formed, your change coalition needs to work as a team. So it is not a competition, but rather something that we come together to come up with a good change process. What you can do: identify the true leaders in the organization. So you have to get the movers and the shakers, the ones that are really going to make things happen and not make it a bureaucratic process. As for an emotional commitment from these key people, you've got to get them to get buy-in on this, so that way we can move forward, and instead of looking for new jobs or careers, bring this organization out of the change that needs to be done. Work on team building within your change coalition. So team building, what is team building? Team building meaning coming together with the ideas and getting things done, and having agendas, having Gantt charts, having gates, things that must be quantifiable in order to be successful. Check your team for weak areas. So as you're building this coalition, and you have to check these things. Check the weak areas, and not to get rid of them, but to improve on them and capitalize on the things that they need to focus on in order to make this change happen. Create a vision for change. Link ideas and concept to the overall vision. So what could be the overall vision of Toys R Us? The overall vision could be infiltrate and compete with delivery systems such as Amazon for the future of this company. So you got to link the ideas and concepts. A clear vision can help everyone understand why you're asking them to do something. So have a clear vision of exactly what it is that you want this company to do or work towards. What can you do? Determine the values that are central to change. Develop a short summary, 1 or 2 sentences, that captures what you see as the future of your organization. Okay, so in the sense of Toys R Us, if you just have to be the renowned #1 toy maker in the world, you could add some sentences on there and compete on the online environment, increase sales on the internet, or something to that effect. Create a strategy to execute that vision. Well, a vision, which could be the sense a plan without action, equals 0. So make sure that you execute the vision. Communicate the vision. This organization could be a very large organization, and people must be informed. So you got to tell the story, set the goals, and communicate the vision. Communicate the vision more frequently and powerfully, and embed it within everything you do. So everything that you communicate must be included so that the vision is understood. Use the vision daily to make decisions to solve problems. When you keep it fresh on everyone's mind, they'll remember and it responds to it. So what do I stand for? What do I stand for is the vision daily. What do I stand for? And make decisions around that vision. Don't create other visions that you're working on. What can you do? Talk often about your change vision. Why are we doing it? Why are we changing our vision? Because we're losing sales, because we need to be more competitive on the internet. Openly and honestly address people's concerns and anxieties. You're going to have anxieties such as the example that I gave you on Toys R Us, because under bankruptcy, people think they're going to lose their jobs, that their future is bleak. So that way you have to be open and honest to address people's concerns and anxieties, and let them know that as a team, if you work together, you can overcome this challenge and come out of bankruptcy, and everybody will be in a better place. Apply your vision to all aspects of the operations, from training to performance reviews. That is a very important point. Tie everything back to the vision. As you can see, the main step here is communicate the vision. Vision being the key. So you must tie everything in to the vision. Step 4, remove obstacles. Put in place the structure for change and continually check for barriers to do it. So, depending on the business, there could be many roadblocks or barriers. Make sure that you identify them and get them out of the way. Removing obstacles can empower the people you need to execute the vision, and it can help the change to move forward. What can you do? Identify or hire change leaders whose main roles are to deliver the change. So you may not have change experts in your organization. So this is where you can go out and outsource and hire change leaders that come in there, do an analysis of what you need to do in order to get competitive in the business world. Recognize and reward people for making change happen. One of the biggest things that we deal with as humans is the inability to deal with change. Change is hard for all of us. But if you continue and you remove that obstacle and recognize and reward people for making change happen, you'll see that a trend will change where people will not hesitate to change for the betterment of the organization. Identify people who are resisting the change. Take action to quickly remove barriers, human or otherwise. So when you identify these folks in resisting change, sell it to them, get buy-in from them. It's not necessarily telling you to get rid of them. Create short-term wins. Create short-term targets, not just long-term goals. Long-term goals have many gates and could be, lost in the success wheel if you do not create short-term targets. So when you create short-term targets, make sure that they're attainable. Each win that you produce can further motivate the entire staff. So if you see your organization moving forward with the short-term wins because you're meeting the targets, then it motivates your staff to think, we can do this. I'm on board. What can you do? Look for surefire projects that you can implement without help from any strong critics of the change. Don't choose early targets that are expensive. So don't go investing a whole bunch of money on technology or how to devise on how to move your logistics out of your warehouses if you don't have a solution yet that is going to work. Reward the people who help you meet the targets. If you notice that there is a constant theme here, it's reward the people, recognize the people, because when you recognize people for short-term wins or communicating a vision or not resisting change, they become part of the team and will help you succeed in the change process. Built on change. Each success provides an opportunity to build on what went right and identify what you can improve. What can you do? After every win, analyze what went right and what needs improvement. This is mostly called an after-action review. That way we capitalize on the successes so we can implement them in later strategies. Set goals to continue building on the momentum you've achieved. So now that we met that particular change and the success, we must build on it in order to continue the change process. Keep ideas fresh by bringing in new change agents and leaders for your change coalition. So don't get stagnant on there. So if you have all the folks that have ideas, so you need to bring somebody in from the outside to keep those ideas fresh, to keep you moving forward, do so, as it would help you in success in the change process. The last step, anchor the changes in corporate culture. Make a continuous effort to ensure that change is seen in every aspect of your organization. People must see change for the betterment so they can believe and have buy-in. It is also important that your company leaders continue to support the change. This includes existing staff, new leaders who are brought in. Some of the things that you can do: talk about progress and the change you get, include change ideas, values when hiring new and training staff, create plans to replace key leaders of change as they move on. This will help you ensure that the legacy is not lost or forgotten. Over the last 15 minutes, I've summarized and discussed creating a climate for change, engaging and enabling the organization, implementing and sustaining for change, which covered creating urgency, form a powerful coalition, create a vision for change, communicate the vision, empower action, create quick wins, build on change, make part of it of the culture. I hope that you enjoyed the presentation. Thank you. This concludes my presentation. I hope that you found it informative. And please, if you have any questions, please email them to me.